Facing the Mediterranean in the near future, water shortage in southern Spain, spreading of tropical diseases through Italy, Cabernet Sauvignon produced in the Yorkshire. Which changes can we expect? Climate is changing globally. Climate is changing, that's what the majority of scientists claim. It has even become a popular mantra. Heat waves, mild winters, intense rains and flooding, droughts and catastrophic events give us the feeling of climate change. But climate has a dimension that goes incredibly over our ability to perceive it. Describing climate means looking back into the past and forward in the future. Describing climate means using models, means building scenarios. Here we live in the Mediterranean basin, and of course we do face climate change as well. However, global models are not effective enough to describe in detail what is the extent of change and which are the consequences at such a regional level. We need to develop more powerful tools to build a feasible regional scenario. It's like zooming down in order to see the local details with more clarity. We need to produce local models. CIRCE fills this scale gap. CIRCE brings climate research from global to local, focusing onto the Mediterranean basin.
Mediterranean is a very peculiar ocean basin because it's a border region. The Mediterranean region has been a border in many senses over history, has been a border economically, historically and socially. It's also a border from the meteorological point of view. It is at the dividing line between the tropical meteorological zone and the mid-latitude meteorological zone. The summers are hot and dry, but we have water because we have rain in the winter. It's a very delicate balance because all of the water resources that we are relying on in the Mediterranean are deriving from the winter precipitation. We're watching this balance very carefully because we have reason to believe that we are sort of fiddling with a mechanism that is regulating this very delicate balance.
We have scientific evidences of climate changes that occurred in our region. But what about the future? What will happen? We need to describe potential scenarios, and to do that we need the right model.
We'll produce models that will have a special model for the Mediterranean Sea, so that we can reproduce the effect of the Mediterranean with accuracy, and also by using special limited area models that will describe the entire atmosphere of the region with some degree of detail.
The right model, the reasonable scenario. Achieving these goals is essential, but not sufficient. It would let us depict trends, but won't tell us much concerning concrete effects of climate change on human activities. Moving from scenarios to impacts, CIRCE faces this challenge as well.
There are several dimensions. Of course, there is the economic dimension of the impact of climate change in the region by sector, globally and by sector, at macroeconomic level, and sectors like agriculture or tourism. Or we have special analysis on the risk, like problems of migrations, or the impact of extreme events as well on the global economy and on specific sectors as well. And there is another dimension, which is what kind of policies can respond to climate change.
The evaluation of concrete impacts is a real challenge. That's why CIRCE researchers will undergo a series of key studies, urban, coastal and rural cases all over the Mediterranean. Local peculiarities, local demands will be considered, and local stakeholders will be engaged.
I think the lesson we will learn in doing that, in how we're able to let all these communities to talk together, communities that are really speaking different languages, different dictionaries from the scientific and disciplinary point of view, will be a major exercise in trying to attack the climate problem from all the multidisciplinary point of view that is required to do that.
CIRCE will not give us all the answers. It will rather raise new questions, but it will give policymakers and local communities scientific data and information useful to develop strategy of adaptation to climate changes.
I think at the end of the foray we will have a good image of the impact, and then of the costs that will be imposed on countries, and the shortcomings, the problems that in specific sector or specific region will arise, and that will allow us to formulate some advice to the government in terms of what are the risks, how you measure them, and what is the best policies you could use.
64 partners, 3 continents, 10 million euro. CIRCE will put together different scientific disciplines, involve numerous stakeholders, discuss with society at large. It will give shape and figures to Mediterranean climate change. It will bring into focus the regional scale to provide a more reliable global picture of local climate changing.